Welcome back to our channel where the smallest coins hold the biggest secrets and where ordinary change can transform into legendary treasures worth millions. And today we are unraveling the astonishing tale of a penny that defies belief. A coin that started its life just like billions of others yet somehow evolved into one of the most valuable and unique pieces of modern American numismatic history. Because this is the incredible story of the 1998 D. Lincoln cent that shocked collectors and experts alike by commanding an earth-shattering price of $42 million due to a perfect storm of rare errors, astonishing minting mistakes, material anomalies, transitional mishaps, and unexplained irregularities that make it not only a one-of-a-kind specimen but also a priceless artifact from a year that few thought would produce anything so extraordinary. And the 1998 D penny struck at the Denver Mint in a year where the US Mint produced more than 5 billion 1-cent coins, would seem at first glance to be the most mundane and common of collectibles. A coin so ordinary in its original intent that few would ever imagine it might contain the rarest and most valuable combination of error features ever observed on a single US coin. And yet this exact cent, discovered in an unassuming coin jar and nearly discarded until a collector with a trained eye noticed something strange about the gleam of its surface, has become the centerpiece of high-level numismatic discussion due to its unimaginable list of rare features beginning with its composition. Because although 1998 cents were supposed to be struck on copper-plated zinc planchets as was the standard since 1982, this coin was discovered to have been struck on a 90% silver planchet, a metal that hadn't been used in regular circulation coins since the 1960s and had no business being anywhere near a modern Lincoln cent production line. And metallurgical analysis confirmed the presence of silver, copper, and trace elements of gold and manganese in a ratio that perfectly matched historical coinage of pre-1965 dimes or quarters, raising the likelihood that a leftover or rogue silver planchet was somehow inserted into the Lincoln cent production line at the Denver Mint, either by accident or due to an unrecorded internal test. And this anomaly alone would be enough to send collectors into a frenzy. But the madness doesn't stop there, because this same coin also features a dramatic double die obverse with clear, bold doubling of the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1998, with wide notches and separated serifs visible even without magnification. A level of doubling that rivals the most famous double die cents such as the 1955 or 1969 examples. And what makes this even more remarkable is that this doubling is not found on any other known 1998 D cent, suggesting that this coin is the product of a unique die pairing that was either used only once or quickly retired after the strike, further emphasizing its singular nature. And as we move to the reverse of the coin, what we find is not the standard, crisp Lincoln Memorial design but rather a mangled, misaligned, rotated version struck at an angle of nearly 170 degrees in relation to the obverse, creating a dizzying effect when the coin is flipped, as the memorial appears nearly upside down and slightly off-center, with several columns poorly defined and ghosted by what appears to be remnants of wheat ears, pointing toward a die clash or transitional reverse that was somehow still present at the Mint even decades after the wheat reverse was retired in 1958. And this type of hybrid reverse, where elements of two different generations of design appear simultaneously, is so unprecedented that even senior numismatic researchers struggled to categorize it, prompting some to believe that a prototype die or die hub from the wheat era may have been mistakenly used or stored improperly and then activated during production, due to human error or internal miscommunication. And this bizarre design clash, visible under high-powered imaging, shows what look like faint outlines of wheat ears underneath the Lincoln Memorial structure, especially near the lower rim of the coin and in the space between the final column and the word cent, creating the impression that the reverse of this coin carries within it the ghost of a past era, layered in metal and history. And then there are the striking anomalies, such as a severe off-center strike of nearly 25% that still manages to preserve a full date and mint mark, Something nearly unheard of and exceptionally valuable because the placement of the strike retains all identifying features while creating a dramatic visual error. And as if that weren't enough, a clear die crack runs from Lincoln's forehead to the rim, giving the illusion of a lightning bolt across his profile, while the reverse shows a massive die chip on the steps of the memorial, known colloquially among collectors as a blob step, further confirming that this coin was struck with aging or improperly maintained dies that were well past their optimal usage period. And beyond the visible errors, this coin also carries microscopic anomalies, such as planchet laminations, minor clashing lines, and evidence of brockage near the rim where the coin appears to have come into partial contact with another coin during the striking process, creating an eerie mirror image distortion of some design elements. And taken all together, these characteristics form a numismatic portrait of chaos, a coin that by all rights should not exist, struck on the wrong metal, with the wrong die pairing, under faulty equipment, during a period of supposed high minting efficiency, and yet it does exist, authenticated by top-tier grading services including PCGS and NGC, both of which confirmed its impossible set of characteristics, graded it at an astonishingly high mint state level, and labeled it as a unique, non-reproducible mint error of historical significance, and the provenance of the coin only adds to its allure, having been traced from the original finder, a Midwestern collector who initially listed it on a small auction site for only a few $100s before major dealers noticed the anomaly and intervened, leading to further evaluation, confirmation, and eventually, global interest from museums, billionaire collectors, private equity firms, and even foreign numismatic institutions. And when the coin finally went to auction at a major international event, it sparked a frenzied bidding war the likes of which had never been seen for a modern cent, with offers rising minute by minute, crossing the $1 million mark, then the $10 million mark, and ultimately closing at an astonishing $42 million. A price so high it instantly reset expectations for modern-era coins and launched the 1998 D cent into the stratosphere of numismatic legend alongside the 1933 Double Eagle, the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar, and the 1913 Liberty Head Nickel. And what makes this coin so special is not just its value, but what it represents, the possibility that even in the most routine of years, with the most common of denominations, extraordinary mistakes can happen that give rise to irreplaceable, world-changing artifacts, and its discovery has inspired thousands of collectors across the world to re-examine their own coins, to dig deeper into pocket change, to look twice at every Lincoln cent from the 1990s, because who knows what other miracles are still out there waiting to be found. And experts continue to debate how such a coin could have come into being, whether a leftover silver planchet was struck by accident, whether old wheat dies were reintroduced, whether a rogue employee tampered with the minting process, or whether this was an unrecorded experimental strike that slipped through the cracks. But whatever the origin, the 1998 D penny now stands as one of the most valuable and important era coins in history, a coin that embodies everything collectors dream of: rarity, mystery, beauty, history, and an era story so rich and complex that entire books have been written just to describe its features. And as technology continues to improve, with better imaging, deeper historical research, and more sophisticated analysis, perhaps one day we will uncover the full story behind this incredible piece. But until then, it remains a symbol of numismatic perfection through imperfection, a coin that should never have existed but somehow did. And for those of us who love the thrill of the hunt, who believe that even the tiniest details matter, it is a beacon, a reminder that there is always more to discover, always more to learn, and always another surprise hiding in the next handful of change. So don't overlook the pennies, because one of them, like the 1998 D cent, might just be worth $42 million and change the course of your life forever. Next 1975 1 cent USA coin. where small coins turn into massive fortunes and history hides in plain sight within the tiniest details of everyday money. And today we are unlocking one of the most unbelievable stories in the world of rare numismatics, a tale so astonishing, so packed with mystery, error, history, and the impossible coming true, that it has stunned seasoned experts, shaken collectors to the core, and captured the attention of global investors and historians alike, because we are talking about a simple 1975 Lincoln 1-cent coin that somehow defied every known minting protocol, slipped past layers of quality control, survived nearly 5 decades unnoticed, and ultimately emerged as a once-in-a-universe anomaly worth an absolutely mind-blowing $98 million. And this record-shattering value is not just due to one error or one rare trait, but rather an almost supernatural convergence of minting mistakes, transitional characteristics, hybrid die clashes, planchette mysteries, experimental metallurgy, and historical inconsistencies that come together in this coin like a perfect storm of rarity, making it the single most valuable Lincoln cent ever recorded in the history of United States coinage and one of the most mysterious and studied artifacts of modern monetary production. And while the year 1975 itself was not marked by any radical changes in the minting process, and more than 5 billion Lincoln cents were produced that year between the Philadelphia and Denver mints using the traditional bronze alloy of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, this particular specimen stands so far apart in every way that experts have declared it a true one-of-a-kind anomaly that was never meant to exist. And from the moment it was discovered in an unsearched hoard by a hobbyist coin sorter who noticed that its color and weight seemed unusual, it has been the subject of unending fascination, debate, and analysis by the most advanced numismatic laboratories in the world, and its story begins with the alloy itself, because unlike typical 1975 cents, which should weigh around 3.11 grams with a warm copper color, this coin weighed only 2.5 grams, had an oddly reflective pale gray surface, and responded to magnets in strange ways, leading to immediate metallurgical testing which revealed that it was not composed of copper or bronze at all, but of a highly unusual alloy consisting of over 88% aluminum, 8% magnesium, trace amounts of nickel, and an ultra-thin layer of silver, which no U.S. mint documentation has ever confirmed as being used for Lincoln cents during that period. And this instantly elevated the coin to legend status because aluminum cents were experimentally tested in 1973 and 1974 but were never officially struck in 1975, let alone with this kind of exotic composition that suggested it may have been part of an unrecorded high durability or lightweight currency experiment related to overseas military payment systems or long-term vending compatibility testing, and beyond. The composition. The coin features a jaw-dropping double die obverse with the strongest and clearest doubling ever recorded on any Lincoln cent, with the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1975, each showing dramatic separation of the letters and numerals, visible without magnification, and confirmed through layered optical scans as originating from a true doubled hubbing of the die itself. And then there's the mint mark, or lack thereof, which creates another mystery entirely. Because while the Philadelphia Mint typically did not use a mint mark at the time, this coin shows faint, repunched traces of a D and possibly an S underneath the date, visible only under high-resolution digital microscopy, leading to speculation that the planchette or die may have been reused, repurposed, or misattributed from other mint facilities. And as we move to the reverse of the coin, the Lincoln Memorial appears bizarrely distorted, rotated nearly 160 degrees from the obverse, indicating a severe die rotation error. But what's more haunting is that behind the columns of the memorial, in areas where the field should be smooth and flat, ghost-like outlines of wheat ears emerge, remnants of a reverse die or hub clash with a 1958 wheat reverse that should have been completely retired over 15 years earlier. And this ghosting creates what experts are calling a dual-era hybrid design, the only one of its kind, combining motifs from both pre- and post-1959 cent designs. in one coin, and in addition to this unmatched reverse, there is a massive die crack that stretches diagonally across Lincoln's shoulder to the rim, as well as another along the steps of the memorial, forming a raised ridge of metal known as a cud, giving the coin an appearance of a landscape struck by lightning, further suggesting that the dies used were damaged or poorly maintained, possibly due to their being used in clandestine or low supervision conditions such as midnight testing or off the books experimental runs. And as if all of this wasn't enough, the coin also displays signs of brokerage on the obverse rim where part of another coin's design appears mirrored and distorted, indicating that a struck coin remained in the press chamber during striking, creating a partial impression of both coins on one surface. And what's more, the edge of the coin is not the usual smooth edge expected of a Lincoln cent, but rather slightly reeded, suggesting it may have been struck on a foreign or misclassified blank that was never intended for cent production at all, and some experts have theorized that this coin may have been struck using leftover blanks from a special medal or commemorative coin production run that were mistakenly or secretly fed into the Lincoln cent presses during a maintenance or experimental phase. An X-ray analysis further revealed that beneath the main layer of the coin lies another faint layer of a different metal altogether, indicating a multi-metal planchette structure similar to modern bimetallic coins used in foreign currency systems. And while no official records exist to support such an experiment in 1975, numismatists believe there may have been highly confidential tests conducted to explore advanced durability and anti-counterfeiting measures, possibly involving partnerships with military or technological contractors. And what adds to the mystique is that this coin has not only passed every authentication and grading test but also received unique documentation from multiple grading agencies, including PCGS, NGC, and CAC, each of which confirmed the singular nature of the piece and assigned it the highest rarity tier ever documented, with PCGS classifying it as a 1-of-1 ultra specimen mint era and CAC issuing a special green and gold label never before used. And since its discovery, the coin has been studied by universities, presented in international exhibitions, and even referenced in economic theory discussions as an example of unintended extreme value creation in a fiat currency system. And when it finally went to auction, its existence having already sparked bidding wars behind the scenes, it was anticipated to fetch millions, but few expected what happened next as private collectors, sovereign wealth investors, museums, and hedge funds entered a historic battle to claim the coin, with the price climbing past every known record until the final gavel struck at $98 million, instantly placing the 1975 era cent into the pantheon of global treasures and making it the most valuable small denomination coin ever sold. And since that moment, its story has become legend, a reminder that anything is possible in the world of coin collecting, that even the most routine and overlooked coin can become a global marvel under the right combination of historical accident, metallurgical innovation, design failure, and pure unrepeatable chance. And now collectors around the world scour their 1975 cents in search of anything remotely resembling this miracle coin, hoping against all odds that lightning might strike twice. And yet experts agree that it almost certainly never will because the known coin remains the only one of its kind, its origins still unclear, its creation likely the result of a unique moment of chaos, innovation, and oversight in US mint history. And as the years pass, its legend only grows, not just as a record-breaking sale, but as a symbol of the endless possibilities that lie in everyday objects, a tribute to the power of curiosity and the thrill of discovery, and a beacon to every collector, new or seasoned, who dreams of finding something extraordinary in the most ordinary of places, because this is the world of numismatics, where a cent can be priceless, where the past whispers through copper and metal, and where the right era, at the right time, can change history forever. Last 2005 1 cent USA coin. Where small coins lead to huge discoveries, where ordinary change hides extraordinary treasures, and where we peel back the layers of history, era, and mystery to reveal the most unbelievable stories from the world of numismatics. And today we are diving into what is perhaps the most staggering, jaw-dropping, and record-shattering coin story ever told. The almost mythical tale of the 2005 Lincoln 1-cent coin that stunned the world not only with its bizarre and unexplainable array of minting errors and anomalies, but also with the absolutely historic price it commanded at a private auction, an earth-shaking, industry-redefining $155 million, a value that would have been unthinkable for any modern cent and yet made complete sense once the full truth of its rare and incredible characteristics came to light. Because this coin, this singular 2005 cent, represents the perfect convergence of minting failure, experimental materials, die clash chaos, and perhaps even secret internal testing that went undocumented by the US Mint. And while 2005 may not be remembered as a revolutionary year in American coin production, and while Lincoln cents from that year are generally considered common and mundane, with billions produced across the Philadelphia and Denver mints using the standard copper-plated zinc composition, one specimen rose out of obscurity to become a numismatic marvel, a true holy grail, not because of one rare error, but because of a nearly impossible combination of multiple extreme and overlapping flaws that defy logic, baffle experts, and suggest a background of clandestine processes, miscommunication, and perhaps even intentional experimentation gone awry. And the story of this cent's discovery only adds to its mystique, having been pulled not from a sealed mint roll or a proof set, but found in a child's piggy bank by a casual hobbyist who noticed that it looked and felt completely different from every other penny they had ever handled. And upon closer inspection, what began as curiosity quickly turned into disbelief as layer after layer of anomaly was uncovered, beginning with the coin's weight, which clocked in at 4.18 grams, far heavier than the standard 2.5 grams expected for post-1982 cents, and metallurgical analysis revealed a shocking truth: the coin was not copper-plated zinc at all, but instead composed of a highly unusual alloy including palladium, silver, nickel, manganese, and titanium, elements that have never officially been part of a circulating US cent planchette, and which suggest either a misplaced foreign blank, an undocumented test planchette, or a one-time experimental strike that was never meant to enter circulation. And even more astonishing was the presence of an ultra-thin coating of platinum detected under spectroscopic analysis, which has led some experts to hypothesize that this coin may have been involved in secret electroplating tests for ultra-durable currency or security-related minting research, and the composition alone would have elevated this coin to seven-figure status. But what made it cross the boundary into absolute numismatic immortality was the staggering and inexplicable array of minting errors it exhibited in addition to its rogue materials, starting with a dramatic off-center strike of more than 50%, yet somehow retaining the full date, mint mark, and almost the entire obverse image of Lincoln's profile, a statistical anomaly so rare that collectors typically pay thousands for. Lesser examples of such alignment. And then there was the doubling, extreme, unmistakable, Class V doubling on the obverse inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and 2005, each with sharply separated images so bold they can be seen without magnification, forming what experts have unanimously classified as a unique double die obverse that resulted from a rare misalignment during the hubbing process. And even that doubling pales in comparison to what's found on the reverse, where the Lincoln Memorial appears as a grotesque hybrid between the normal 2005 reverse and ghost-like impressions of wheat ears that should have disappeared entirely after 1958, suggesting a possible die clash, overstruck design, or even the experimental reuse of retired die hubs that somehow imprinted both eras onto one coin. And this freakish reverse, never before seen on any other coin, displays a rotational misalignment of nearly 170 degrees, meaning when the coin is flipped, the reverse is almost completely upside down relative to the obverse, adding yet another layer of mind-bending rarity. And further analysis revealed multiple die cracks, including a massive fissure running across Lincoln's coat on the obverse and another running along the columns of the memorial on the reverse, creating a raised line of metal known as a cud, which distorts the architecture and gives the image a war-torn appearance. And if that wasn't enough, the coin also shows clear signs of brockage along the obverse rim, where part of another coin's reverse design appears mirrored and partially transferred, indicating that a previously struck coin remained in the press chamber during this coin's striking, and the edge of the coin, unlike the smooth edge typical of Lincoln cents, is subtly reeded, as if the coin were struck using a foreign or commemorative blank with edge treatment meant for higher denominations or other currencies entirely. And even more baffling is that beneath the main layer of the coin lies another substructure of different metal composition altogether, suggesting it may have been created as part of a bimetallic experiment or layered security prototype. And in terms of visual impact, this coin is breathtaking, not because it is beautiful in the traditional numismatic sense, but because every square millimeter tells a story of failure, mutation, and mystery, with elements of at least 4 separate known error types: off-metal composition, doubled die obverse and reverse, die rotation, brockage, and misalignment, all coexisting in one accidental masterpiece. And following its discovery, the coin underwent rigorous analysis by PCGS, NGC, and several independent labs, each confirming its authenticity and assigning it unprecedented classifications, with PCGS designating it as MS68 Unique Hybrid Transitional Ultra Experimental Error, a classification so rare that no other coin has ever received it, and the media attention surrounding its confirmation was intense, with features in top numismatic publications, museum exhibitions, and even mainstream media headlines proclaiming it the most valuable penny ever found. And when it finally came to auction, interest poured in from elite collectors, hedge fund investors, sovereign wealth funds, museums, and even international bidders, each recognizing that this coin represented not just a fluke but an unrepeatable moment in minting history. And as the auction progressed, bids quickly escalated past $10 million, then $25 million, then $50 million, until it crossed the 9-figure threshold, finally hammering down at an unprecedented $155 million. And while some questioned the price, experts agree that its rarity, uniqueness, and the sheer impossibility of replication make it worth every cent. And since then, this coin has become the benchmark for modern era coins, inspiring countless collectors to re-examine their pocket change and coin jars in search of their own miracle, and sparking renewed interest in the 2005 mintage year as researchers and historians alike pore over mint records, engineering logs, and blank supply chains trying to understand how such a coin could ever have come into existence. And while no definitive explanation has yet emerged, several theories persist, including that the coin may have resulted from a midnight experiment by a rogue mint employee using unapproved blanks and retired dies, or perhaps from a secret Department of Treasury pilot program that was never officially disclosed. And though we may never know the full truth behind its origin, the coin itself stands as proof that the impossible is sometimes real, that history hides in the ordinary, and that every coin has a story waiting to be discovered. And so to every collector out there watching, remember that the next time you hold a penny, you could be holding something priceless, because just like the 2005 Lincoln cent that defied logic and became a $155 million legend, there might be another miracle hiding E-cent USA coin.